Hello guys and girls, welcome back to my mini-series where we take a look at one of the most scientifically accurate movie franchises ever, The Fast and the Furious, and today we're looking at number 5. But if you haven't watched any of the ones before this one, I'll leave a link below the playlist where we do number 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to continue with this all the way to the newest one. If you like this one, you will like the other ones, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so after this one, just go check the other ones as well. I'm a little bit hot, give me 2 seconds. Okay. Now, as I said in previous videos, the Fast and Furious franchise of movies are very entertaining action movies. But as far as Fast and Furious goes, this is where the Fast and Furious started going from a movie around street racing and car culture and changed more into a heist type action movie. Now, Universal did this on purpose. They hoped that if they put less emphasis on the cars and racing and more on the action scenes, that it would draw larger crowds. And if you're looking at box office numbers, it seemed like it worked, with number 4 making 155 million at the box office, and number 5 making 209 million. So it did much better than the previous ones. It's actually one of the best grossing Fast and Furious movies. But for me as a car enthusiast, the whole thing with Fast and Furious was the cars and the street racing. That's why I fell in love with cars. This whole movie franchise got me into cars, and now it's like there are still car scenes and they are cool cars, but it's more like an action heist. They moved away from their roots, and that's the whole thing I personally liked about Fast and Furious. This is also where the stunts went downhill and it started to become crazier and crazier. So this one specifically isn't too insane. There are a few scenes that are just like, how even, but this is the okay. After this one, it just gets worse and worse and worse. But let's get into Fast 5 and the storyline and all the flaws and everything. Okay, cool. So the movie starts essentially where number 4 ended. Dom is being transported to jail, but you can't let family go to jail. So they are going to break him out. Mia does a handbrake turn. The bus swerves and slams into Brian's car, sending it flying into the air. Now firstly, this whole scene is attempted murder on the bus driver and all the freaking inmates in there, because that's a serious crash. It's not a small crash, it's a proper as big crash. Secondly, the poor bus driver, what did he do wrong? He's just doing his job, and now this poor guy's gonna end up in hospital. And then lastly, Brian's car doesn't move an inch. Given the speed and the weight of the bus, Brian's car should have been like putted out of the way, just like poof. It wouldn't be like poof and then the bus cucks. It would be a proper crash, and his car wouldn't just like stay there, it would fly. I don't think that's how that scene would have played out in real life. Anyways, they break Dom out and they escape to Rio. Mia, Brian and Dom, all of them are going to Rio. Cool. In Rio, they get a job stealing 3 cars, and Dom figures out that the bad dudes are really interested in the GT40, and he says that his sister should take the GT since it suits her better. She races home, Vin takes the Pantera and Dom takes the Vet. Now, dropping these cars like this is just wrong. It literally hurt me. Like, I could feel physical pain seeing this classic supercars basically being dropped off the thing. But they took it a step further with the Vet. This car falls at least 6 feet, landing on the front left corner of the bumper, which would clearly damage it. But nope, it's fine. For now. Anyways, Ray's the bad dude, managed to capture Dom and Brian, but he didn't know that Dom always eats his veggies. Dom breaks loose and Brian and Dom escape, and they retreat for their safe house. Now once they made it back to the safe house, they start to investigate the GT40, just to find out why it was so important to Reyes and his guys. Vince arrives and he tries to steal the computer chip that is in the car, and he later admits that he wanted to sell it back to Reyes. Now Dom isn't happy with this whole thing and he forces Vin to leave. I never liked him anyway, so it didn't really bother me at all. So Brian goes through this chip and he discovers that this chip contains all the locations of Ray's money, and there's like $100 million, so it's a shit ton of money. But meanwhile, while all of this is happening, a bigger bald dude arrives. His name is Hobbs, and he's like a supercop brought in to find Dom, Brian and Mia. Now Hobbs and his team track them down, but when they arrive, they see that the place is already under attack by Ray's men. Now Dom, Brian and Mia are being chased by some bad dudes. Dom is being chased by Hobbs, the other big bald guy, and Brian and Mia is being chased by Ray's men. In this chase, Brian and Mia jump like 3 stories and they fall through a roof, but they are fine. Now P.S. Mia in this scene is pregnant. Like in the next scene, she's gonna tell you that she's pregnant. Now I'm guessing, like with alcohol, It's advised not to jump off like a building when you're pregnant. I can't think it's good for the baby. Anyways, they all escape. Now in the next scene, Mia announces that she's pregnant with Brian's child. Dom makes the suggestion that they should steal the money from Ray's and start a new life with it, but they can't do it alone, so they assemble a team consisting of Han, the dude that died in number 3, Tej and Roman from number 2, Giselle, Leo and Santos from number 4, and Vin, the dude that was like kicked out. He's gonna come back again. Yeah. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. Hobbs and his team is busy trying to figure out why everybody wants this GT40. They can't find out what's wrong, but it takes Hobbs less than a minute to figure out that the chip is missing. He's not just a big muscly bald guy, he's got some brains too. Okay, so there are 10 locations. Now they attack one of them and burn all the money, and this forces Reyes to move all of his other money into a more secure location. He moves it into a police station. Now obviously getting the money from a prison will require some planning and surveillance. Surveying. I don't know what the correct way of saying that is, but they're gonna plan and survey for the big heist. Yeah. While they are surveilling Reyes, Dom's charger gets caught on camera. Now Dom is wearing a mask, and the camera is quite poop. But watch this. The database can use this crappy picture and find out that that is Dom. Now if they have this technology to just see this little part of your face and have that really crappy camera and still know who the hell you are, how do bank robbers ever get away? Like, or not just bank robbers, any like robbery with a dude just having a face mask. So this team has all the odds stacked against them. Hobbs knows that they are planning something big. Reyes put all of his money in a super secure location, and they are like these super wanted people. The police want them, everybody wants to catch them, and I'm pretty sure they don't have any money either. But in order for the plan to work out, they need to get some cars. So Brian and Dom go out to do some pink slip street racing. Now if you don't know what pink slips is, it basically means the winner keeps the car. So if there's two people racing, the guy that wins gets both cars. That's pink slips. Cool. You with me? Now they win a few cars this way, but they soon realize that no cars will be fast enough. They need cars that are invisible. Now the cars unfortunately won't legit be invisible. They just can use police cars, because like police cars can be there in the police station and it won't be suspicious, if that makes sense. So they steal 4 police cars. Now these are a bunch of 7th gen Chargers. This is an important fact for later in the movie. Anyways, after they steal it, they have a big drag race, and they call it the $1 million drag race, because each of them are going to bet $1 million, because when they get all the money, they're going to have lots of money. Okay, cool. Now this is one of those classic Fast and Furious drag races where it takes forever. This quarter mile is 400 meters, takes 1 minute to complete. The police cars in Rio are unbelievably slow, because I think I can pedal 400 meters faster than 1 minute. I'm pretty sure I can actually, yeah. They want to get a little more breathing room, so they go back to the races and lead Hobbs to them on purpose. Now here's a small flaw, and this is something I don't understand. So early in the movie, when they did the races to win the cars for pink slips, they had to get there, and they used the Charger. You can see the Charger in the background of that races to get there. But this time, when they drove there, the cameras picked them up, and it led them to the street racing. So what happened all the other nights? Were the cameras just offline, or why didn't it pick them up? Anyways, when Hobbs arrives, he has a southern accent, like out of nowhere. The whole movie he had a normal American accent, and now he's got a southern one.
I'll just give it a minute. It'll sink in.
Dom yells, "This is Rio." Everybody has a gun pointed at Hobbs. Hobbs retreats, and the whole point of this exercise was just to plant a track on Hobbs' car. Okay, so everything is set. There are 4 police cars, an extra safe, and a palm print, which they got from this girl's butt. Not even gonna make a comment on that, but that's how they got it. But before they can start the heist, Hobbs arrives. Time for the fight of the baldies. I really hope I never see any of these two guys in person, because like, I'll probably get my ass kicked up and down the street. They fight. Dom wins, kind of. They still get captured. So this whole fight scene was super unnecessary, because they get captured anyways. It was more just like a mine's bigger than yours contest. Now time for another scene that really didn't make sense to me. Ray's men attacks Hobbs and his team while they are busy transporting Dom and the team. Ray's men then kill Hobbs' team, but Dom saves Hobbs and Elena, which in turn leads Hobbs to helping Dom with the heist. So here's my question, why? Ray's is already in with the cops, that's why his money's there and everything. So he must know somehow that Hobbs is there to hunt down Dom and them. So why would he attack the guy that's taking care of his enemy. Like Hobbs is busy trying to catch Dom, Brian, and all of those guys. Yeah? Now, who's Ray's biggest problem? Dom and them. So why would you attack the people that are helping you solve the problem? It doesn't make sense. But let's go on. The gang break into the police station and tear the vault, holding Ray's money from the building. Now remember, I told you about the 7th gen charges? Well, they have 6th gen charges now. Look at the rear taillights. So 2 of the charges stayed 7th gen, but the other 2 went back in time. Fast and Furious is bloody cool movies. They do some cool stuff in these. So now they are dragging the safe through the city. During this vault chase, the vault spins, tangling the lines in the process. But it just untangles itself. Now, if you think untangling safe is pretty cool, there's an indestructible tree in this movie too. Look how the safe practically wipes out an entire building, but it bounces off of a tree. And if you're just gonna say like, the trees are really hard, like later in the same scene, a car goes through a tree, like it snaps it in half. So I'm sure the safe would have done a bit of damage to this tree, because that safe should weigh like 7-8 tons. It's a big, thick steel safe. Anyways, they destroy just about everything in their path, and they do a switcheroo. Dom cuts Brian loose and decides he's going to take the rest of Rio's police and Ray's men all by himself. Now, since Dom is practically a superhuman, he actually succeeds in this. Orbs arrives on the scene and executes Ray's. Now, Orbs tells Brian and Dom they've got a 24-hour window before he starts to hunt them again. So they can go, but they must leave the safe as is. But what Hobbs doesn't know is the little switcheroo I told you about. So the safe he has is the extra safe that's empty. The one with the money is already on the way back to the safe house, which means they got the 100 mil. So the team split the cash and the whole team goes their separate ways. And that's basically the entire movie. So yeah, if you want to see what goes on in number 6, the next video, subscribe. I'm going to make that video next week. It will come out next week Friday. And if you enjoyed this video, go check the other ones as well, since number 1, 2, 3 and 4 is already out as well. Yeah, check you guys in the next one. Cheers,